For more now on reaction to the tariffs, or at least the hold on tariffs, let's bring in CTV's Scott Hurst. That's some good news, I guess. We've got a reprieve.
Yeah, Roger, as you mentioned, some of this reprieve included this beefed up border security plan. So it means tariffs won't be imposed for at least the next 30 days, but there is still a lot of uncertainty. Maybe a huge sigh of relief that the most pressing concern has at least been paused for now, but still not out of the woods just yet. And as Quebec Premier François Legault rightly pointed out, uncertainty is very bad for the economy. And he went on to say, in reaction to the pause to these tariffs, we must rethink our economy to be less dependent on the U.S. As you might expect, a similar response from many of the other premiers who we've seen really with the federal government on the front line of this fight to push back against tariffs. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith saying ultimately diplomacy won the day, applauding the border plan to crack down on trafficking and other illegal activities, saying Alberta has been calling for the so-called border czar as announced in this agreement. She says she's also preparing to return to the U.S. Capitol over the next few weeks, and she also had a message for her fellow premiers, saying it is time to de-escalate the rhetoric and threats. Ontario Premier Doug Ford agreeing cooler heads prevailed, allowing more time for negotiation, but following that up, Roger, with an ultimatum that Canada won't be deterred from retaliation. Now, Newfoundland and Labrador Premier Andrew Furey also today reacting to the pause in tariffs, but also increasing the Buy Canada, Buy Newfoundland push. Here's more of what he had to say in reaction to these tariffs for now being put on pause.
Canada and Newfoundland and Labrador didn't start this offensive, but we will be responsive to an attack, but we'll also be diplomatic and Canadian in trying to de-escalate instead of escalate any behaviors.
So, Roger, initial reaction, obviously a huge sigh of relief that as of today, Canada is not being hit with these 25% tariffs across the board. But as you heard from all the premiers and the reaction there from Newfoundland and Labrador Premier Andrew Furey, the retaliation measures are still on the table if the U.S. president and the U.S. government plans to go ahead with these 25% tariffs in a month from now.
And for average Canadians, are we willing to forgive and forget just yet?
Maybe not just yet. We've seen that Buy Canadian push really gain momentum. Of course, Roger, this is a trading relationship, a trading partnership that won't go away anytime soon. So don't expect any dismantling of this trade relationship. $3.6 billion in goods and services cross the border every day. But we have seen this Buy Canadian push. And obviously, throughout all of this, this is proof that harm is being done and Canadians are feeling it. And it appears that Canadians are ready to at least boycott some American brands over Trump tariffs. In a new poll from Research Co., more than 3 in 5 Canadians, some 63%, say they plan to avoid purchasing goods that originated from the U.S. if a non-American alternative is available. Of course, as we pointed out, that is incredibly difficult sometimes. Of course, there are products that originate from Canada that do end up directly on our store shelves, but because of the interconnected relationship of our trade relationships over the last several decades, many products really go back and forth across the border a whole bunch of times before they hit store shelves. But there is this sentiment to buy Canadian in the face of these tariff threats, at least, even though we have hit pause on the tariffs and being implemented right away, Roger.
Okay. Scott, thank you as always, sir.
Thanks, Roger.
CTV Scott Hurst.